Hey everyone, welcome to the 12th edition of Theo Reviews PMQs, this being the PMQs of the 30th of March. And today's PMQs, like last time, is Boris Johnson versus Sir Keir Starmer. And let's get straight into it. First of all, Boris Johnson opened by talking about how great it was about the Conservative MP that came out as trans. Obviously, there's been some controversy because of a party the other day where Boris Johnson apparently said, evening, ladies and gentlemen, or as Keir Starmer, leader of the Labour Party, will put it, those that were assigned male and female at birth. So, some more goodness there. But to the actual questions, first of all, Keir Starmer, obviously echoed about the Conservative MP coming out as trans, how they were brave to do so, and then asked, does the PM and the Chancellor think they're still tax-cutting Conservatives? Boris Johnson tried to say, yes, we do, that they've, done a cut on fuel duty and the biggest cut for working people, which obviously is complete rubbish. I think it's been some of the largest taxes in like 70 years or since rationing, something like that. Obviously, Keir Starmer realised that as well and said, cut the nonsense, treat the British people with respect, and I'll talk him through it slowly. And he said, highest tax burden for 70 years. Is this cutting taxes or raising taxes? Boris Johnson tried to say, where has he been for the last 2 years? Captain Hindsight, and, obviously mentioning about COVID because of the taxes. Keir Starmer then, responded, I hope that his police questionnaire was more convincing. Obviously referencing the 20 fines that have come out to members of the Conservative Party. Mentioned the worst fall in living standards on record, and that how in 2024, where there'll happen to be an election, that's when they'll have a small tax cut. How did he find a Chancellor as cynical as him? Boris Johnson obviously tried to say that, it's the Chancellor, who saved people in COVID, and under Labour we'd still be in lockdown. And I think he forgets that under Conservatives, now that we're out of lockdown, people are getting ill left, right and centre. And people already know my views from my last video on that. Keir Starmer said, tough decisions give me a break. They're always asking the working people to pay. And the oil and gas companies have got a windfall tax. And apparently some CEOs of companies and some of the companies themselves have said they've got more money than they know what to do with. And then that they'd welcome a tax on their profits. And that Boris Johnson cares more about shielding the oil and gas companies than he does about helping working people. Boris Johnson obviously tried to say, classic example of what Labour got wrong, even mentioning the 1997 manifesto. I'm not an MP or a Prime Minister, but if you have to mention a party's manifesto from almost 20 years ago, you're kind of on the ropes there. Boris Johnson obviously said, Keir Starmer then obviously said that they're the party of profit, we're the party of the people, and that talking of, like parties, he said he told Parliament that no rules were broken, and now we know that there's been widespread criminality. So we all know and Keir Starmer said this as well, that breaking the ministerial code is supposed to mean that you resign. Why is he still here? Boris Johnson tried to say, let the police get on with their job, we're getting on with theirs. Except they're really not. Keir Starmer said, there are two options. Either he's been trashing the ministerial code, or he's been lied to repeatedly by his advisors. Come off it. He thinks it's one rule for him and one rule for everyone else. When will he stop treating the British people, stop treating them like fools? And to be honest, I think until he leaves office one way or another, he won't. Boris Johnson obviously tried to say, he wanted to keep us in lockdown, we would be still in the EU. Obviously mentioning the EU to get his supporters again, and not mentioning parties or the rules or the fact that he should resign. And of course, sadly, my MP, or MP in all but name, Laura Trott, is not going to act. I know she's not, sadly, which is why I hope at the next general election, whenever it might be, people of Sevenoaks vote her out. Or at least tell her to shape up. If you have any comments or questions on anything that was raised in PMQs, or your own MP, or politics in general, please do leave them in the comments section or on Facebook or Twitter. Or you can always email me at theodoreg.michael@gmail.com. And I hope you do subscribe or like the video, as it does help the channel. Thank you very much.